If I told you at the start of any game, any ladder game, any frenemies game, that you could trade your Contortio for Razormouth, Cowbell, Kivo, and Chuck, how many of you out there would refuse that deal? Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It is Sunday night once again, which means, of course, we have a whole bunch of viewer games to go through, and we have some excitement in store. Or at least we've been on that track record, so let's get to it. Quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future. So look forward to more Phobies content coming from Random's Thoughts. So now, on with the show. Hope everybody's weekend went well, or if you're already living in the future, that the start of your week is going well. The sound's going to be cutting in and out a little bit as I'm swapping between the spreadsheet and the client. As far as I know, there's no way to force Phobies to continue to play the sounds when you don't have the game in focus. There probably is a way. I've just not really looked into it. Hasn't truly been that important. It's not that big of a deal. All right, so here we are with our first game breakdown of the evening. If you want to get your own game reviewed, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. The link for that, and of course, the Twitch stream are in the description of this video. And as always, likes and subscribes do help. Trying to hit that 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. But Pancake is our hero here, and the notes simply are Bad Kitty. So we'll see what happens. In fact, we do get Bad Omen showing up more and more. Showing up more and more. And this is a level 15 Bad Omen. This ought to be good for some laughs. So we'll see what we get. We're getting some unique openers here. It's a little weird. It's a little weird. 111 into 112. The 112 is okay. I don't really get the boom. If Onda were here, we could probably pick Onda's brain about why you would want a boom on turn 1, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say you generally don't. I mean, I guess this is fine. You trade here. And in this particular instance, although you didn't know that the jar was coming out, it gives you the opportunity to eliminate that one drop without having to commit stuff in that would have gotten either poisoned or hit by the jar or both. You have no idea, Onda? Yeah, I don't get this one. How's the mood day? Hope you're feeling well mentally and physically. I'm as good as you can get. My belly's a little full, although not as full as yesterday. I didn't quite gorge myself as much, although this has been a very carb-heavy weekend, we'll put it that way. Boom was played to be exploded. I mean, I guess? Anyway, this Bad Omen is fairly protected. We get a follow-up Bow Mangles, makes sense from Bad Guy here. Creep is locking things down. Are we level 11, level 10? Our hero here does have a significant level advantage. The level advantage here absolutely favors Pancake. And I think that is kind of just bearing out here, that Pancake is able to just kind of bully Bad Guy around. I think Bad Guy could have I think Bad Guy could have possibly positioned differently, put themselves in a better position in order to start eliminating some of these things. But truthfully, this isn't terrible, I guess. I had a game like this last night where you're just down by a bunch of levels. You got to take what you can get and hope that your opponent, in this case Pancake, makes an error. They overextend, they allow you to get in there and do something. This is unfortunate. Like, this is a brutal Bad Omen hit. 0, 0, 191. Yeah, you can get follow-up, but you're not doing 1,100 plus damage. It's just not happening. So instead, we get the repositioning with Electric Cat. There's realistically, like, this game is over at this stage, right? There's just no way for Bad Guy to get out of this. You only have 3 keys. You're not killing... Well, you might be able to kill the Electric Cat here, I guess, maybe. Snowball, yep. You can reclaim some points. This is okay, but clearly you're going to lose stuff, whatever that happens to be. Bad guy is offered up either Murder Wing or the Bowmangles here. It looks like Bowmangles is going to be the target. You get 2 Bad Omen hits, you get 2 Jin Sting hits, you're going to get a Cowbell hit if you need it. A lot of things are going to go wrong. Big She, welcome. Yeah, this feels like that Bad Omen hit, that sealed the game. There's just no getting out of it. And we're going to watch. There's still 6 turns left to this, but there's nothing bad guy can do. The jar is still shut down this turn. The Murder Wing's still shut down this turn. Like, what has Pancake lost at this point? Nothing. Bad guys lost 3, 4, 5, 6 keys to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I mean, it's even on keys, but it's a bunch of 1 keys compared to Bowmangles and board position is the big thing. Bad Omen's like a 2-key Blondie. Yeah, Bad Omen is really strong. Bad Omen's a mini brony. Yeah. There are several Phobies, Bad Omen included, that I really am looking forward to getting. Not that I am ever disappointed in getting Phobies. I mean, obviously some are more exciting than others, as we're explaining here. But Bad Omen, I think, represents such a unique ability given the cost. Yes, we have other power down Phobies. We have other AoE power down Phobies. But a 2-key power down, that's the big thing about the Blondies and the Woolly Bullies and even Boo Fairy. They are so costly to implement the ability they have, this Muffin seems pointless. This Muffin seems absolutely pointless, but whatever. The Bad Omen's ability to impact the early game, or just impact the game with such a trivial cost, is a big deal. After seeing the power of Bad Omen, would I have gotten it for $50? Well, I thought Bad Omen, even at 100, like, okay. So again, content affiliate, and I know I'm not directly commenting on the game, but we're just watching Pancake bludgeon bad guy here. Ooh, we even get a werewolf, chat. Hold on. Level 11 werewolf. You don't see that very often. Content affiliate, they give me coffee. My opinion is that Bad Omen is really strong. Would I have paid $50 for it? Probably not. Even if it was like $50 for Bad Omen and $50 worth of stuff with it. I would have been tempted at 100. Obviously, I didn't do it, and I wouldn't again. If it was offered tomorrow, I wouldn't do it. For 50, it's closer, but I would probably still not do it. If it was 20, like $20, I would 100% do it. I don't think anything more than that I would do. I mean, obviously somebody would go, well, what about $21? It's like, all right, you got me. Like, I'll add the extra $1, like something like that. But that's not how it's going to work out. It's a tough decision. I got Omen for free, but level 6 is slightly useless when people have level 14 stuff. Yeah, there are a lot of Phobies. We were talking about that yesterday, that unfortunately, there are some Phobies that work when they're underleveled. There are a lot of Phobies that do not. And it's just the way it is. We might see a dead Jin Sting here, but I imagine it does not going to matter. Still 3 keys left. 4 to 1 panic point advantage. Pancake is just absolutely hammering bad guy. Get a little numbskull action, because why not? Some head crabs showing up. Pancake getting all the coolest ultra rares. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The teeth... Oh, wait. I didn't mean to go back. Hold on. Pause, please. The teeth on Werewolf look weird to me. Like, does this look weird to anybody else? I know it's not 3 or 4 rows of teeth, but my brain, when I just look at that quickly, looks like there's 3 or 4 rows of teeth. I know it's, you know, you have the bottom triangles and then it's supposed to be the fur, like down here, but it just looks like teeth on teeth on teeth on teeth. Just saying. Might use that for the thumbnail for this. I don't know. We get Snowball and Werewolf next to each other. Looks pretty sweet. GG, Pancake. Well done. Dropping the hammer. There's really not much to say about that. I think Pancake was just... I mean, the only way to put it is bludgeoning bad guy. There was no getting around it. All right, everyone, here we go. We're jumping into a Kratos game. Here, our hero in the orange trunks on hold still. I believe this actually just recently rotated out, but the notes for this particular game, last turn was so funny to me when Tiger jumps, he goes back 2 steps and thanks. Well, thank you to you, Kratos, and thank you to everybody that submits games. If you want to get your own games reviewed, just come by the live stream or hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. That's where all of these game reviews are coming from. There's a channel for it. All the details and instructions are in there. The links for both are in the description. Of course, while you're down there, likes and subscribes do help. Trying to hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We'll see if we can do it this year. Now, Bad Guy is taking a somewhat abnormal opener here with the Murder Wing only into a Alistor. It's a bold move. It's a bold move. Our hero, on the other hand, is going with 1/1 Gravedigger. The Gravedigger makes sense. We see that a lot. Definitely has a lot of value on this map. The 1/1 is a little bit weirder, but it does allow for, clearly, capping these early points. Ginsting is the follow-up. This all seems pretty standard and fairly defensive. Bad Guy is able to get an early panic point advantage. Clearly, the Alistor represents a threat. You can't really do much as our hero. I mean, you could attack it twice with these, but for what purpose, right? Evo is the follow-up from Bad Guy. Okay, sure. Instead, our hero is actually going in. Now, this isn't bad. Clearly, the Alistor can't stay. Evo 2.0, the slightly bigger brother of Evo 1.0, means that Alistor is going to get shooed away. You obviously have a ranged boop here, which is going to threaten a variety of different things. The displacement is really important, and obviously a lob. Now, this is interesting. Okay, we do have enough because of the meatball. Well, maybe not specifically because of the meatball, but there are enough attacks to eliminate the 2/1 keys. That leads to some healing on Alistor, meaning that, Ginsting can't come up and just slam Alistor. This is the challenge with it, or the big threat, is how do you deal with that regularly? Now, this is a cool play. You get the break here from Kratos, which means that you're able to get the hit with bees on Ginsting as well as the displacement. So that means that the Hevo and the Murder Wing can't necessarily get onto this Ginsting as easily. Now, all three could commit back in, but the follow-up is Noxious. This is actually a pretty solid shove, advance, push, however you want to look at it, from Kratos because of that block. It's all enabled by that Gravedigger block, and I think that's pretty cool. Bad Guy's Primate comes in and actually goes in, and then we get Dermic? Sure. I mean, yes, the Alistor is a significant investment, but sure. I don't know. That one seems a little weird. This could very easily be a dead Primate. Is it? In fact is, because it looks like we do get the Poison Spit. Definitely makes sense here. You get the elimination. You will get more of them. You would have liked it to clearly land on the Undead and Alistor, but there is a healing phobia on the board, which is probably part of the Noxious, counterplay here, I guess. But you end up trading Gravedigger for... Wow. I was going to say you traded Gravedigger for Primate, but it looks like Bad Guy's offering up more. I mean, you're down keys here. You're -1 as our hero, Kratos here. But this is a dead Murder Wing unless something weird happens. Alligator is the follow-up is also strange. I don't know about that. But yeah, Murder Wing's just dead. Doesn't even need 2 attacks. Panic Point Advantage hero. You don't have the displacement up, so this is a little strange because you are offering up hits on the Hevo. The heal is on cooldown, but a follow-up is a Spider. Gotta love Spider on this map. Spider on virtually every map, right? Moffat's just a threat everywhere. So we get some repositioning. What? I don't know about this one. I don't know about that one either. Okay, so we get Metabot so that this Hevo can stay in the fight against its big brother. But this alligator is just dead, isn't it? See, I would have thought it would have pulled here anyway, but I'm guessing our hero repositioned there to ensure that you just get the gator, and that's 7 keys just in the crapper. So we get the boop. That allows Hevo to walk away. What are we looking at health-wise? That's a pretty beat-up Hevo. It is still technically in range of these two, but clearly you have to commit really far in. With the follow-up Hevo to match, Hevo 1.0 to match this one, that means that, yeah, you're probably going to kill something. There are double healers, so poison from both of these is possibly less relevant on the Alistor. But at this point, bad guy just took an enormous tempo loss. 4-1 panic point advantage. They're following up with yet another healer. You almost got everything here. All you need is, like, Leshy and Muffin. That's an interesting invade. I don't think you needed to do that. But I guess, does it matter? Dead Hevo. We're getting everything moving in at this point. Big splash damage. Triple kill here. Real solid turn. Like, that's... the Gator was really the end. The Gator was realistically the end, but this was... I mean, that's absolutely the end. Like, that's the game. I don't know if bad guy had thrown in the towel at this point or what, but yeah, it's absolutely over at that point. There's just no... What are they going to do? I don't know that there's much else to say. We do have to wait for this last turn to see what happens on this turn. 5 panic points going to our hero. Dermic and Alistor versus the world. We do get a primate here. We do get a primate here. Never mind, it's just Alistor versus the world. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phobies and 2 keys. That's the hilarious part. Well, bad guy gets their consolation prize, offs the Clinico. Get a reposition from the primate for some reason. We get the boop. So we got the fadeaway shot, sort of, from the primate. Just backs off, leaps back in. Ball game. Well played. GG. Well played. All right, so breakdown number 3 here is from Urk. Let's see what Urk's got on deck for us. I don't want to spoil anything. A great game with a lot of good plays. Just sit back and enjoy. All right, so we do get... I was talking about this the other night. I was talking about this the other night. I'm not really decided on what my opener is going first on this map. Going second, I tend to lean into Quagmire. It's tanky enough that clearly it's going to... Your opponent has to overextend in order to kill it, especially if you're able to occupy the healing spot. I've actually had a lot of people attempt... Whoa, bad guy made a mistake here. Hold on. I've had a lot of people attempt to disease it, but putting that aside, this is a fun play to make. When you can just take a stim and then snipe their early play. A lot of people forget about this. A lot of people forget about this. And this puts bad guy in a hole early on because they're going to be down 3-1. And their only board position at this stage is Cowbell. They banked to 9 for a reason. I imagine there's a Chuck or a Hevo or something. There it is. Coming out. But that Chuck is going to be slow. It's going to give Urk some time in order to actually develop their own board as an answer. Now, Urk did not bank because of that Quagmire. So, what is their answer to Chuck? We're going to find out shortly. And this is the right play. You take the center, yes. Chuck will hit you. Who cares? This is also pretty cool, sliding the Contortio up here. This means that bad guy has to honor it. Is it an enormous amount of damage? No, but it counts for a few panic points worth if they don't respect it. It'll get there eventually. It'll get there eventually. So Hevo is going to be the answer. This will obviously shoo away the Contortio. The Quagmire can't stay here forever. Bank to 10 from our hero. Bank to 10 from our hero. What do we got? This was expected. It also is still up here to protect this. Yes, the Cowbell's still alive. All right, we get a Grailian. Who could have seen that coming? Chat, did you call the Graylien? Did you know Graylien was coming? It's an Urk game, so. Unsurprisingly, Chuck is getting positioned here on the stem. You can't quite get the Chuck yet, but I expect we're gonna... Ooh, a werewolf. What level is this werewolf? Get a level 4 werewolf. This is a strange smattering of levels. You get a level 12 Chuck, but a level 4 werewolf to go with a level 10 and 6. Like, we're all over the place here. We're all over the place. I don't think this dies, does it? 91, 124, 225. Yeah, that shouldn't die. Oh, Urk's confirming. Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah, I was about to say that's probably just an error, which I can understand. It gets you every once in a while remembering the sequencing for it, but it's fine. So Crushmore comes out along with Gesundheit. I don't really get the Gesundheit, other than, I guess, to ensure you have the damage to make sure you address the Chuck. But I think Graylien needed to be where the Crushmore is in order... Bad guy. What? What? That can't possibly be right. Can't click on the Chuck. You have to have enough damage here, right? Like, there's just no way you don't have enough damage, right? This Chuck is just dead? The old switcheroo. Got him. Yeah. Like, this Chuck is just dead. I don't even... Like, what was the plan here? Bad guy had to have absolutely forgotten the Graylien even existed. You don't even need this. Oh, you hit the cowbell. Never mind. I was like, if you're shooting at the Chuck, you absolutely do not need to. I mean, it's for panic point advantage, but bad guy lost all that tempo early on and then just basically handed a Chuck for what? One heart shot? Like, I don't... No, it's not worth it. Now, Werewolf and Boo Fairy are going... They're not even going to kill this. Wow. Wow. That is brutal. That you can't... No, I refuse to believe that bad guy thought you didn't have enough damage. There's just no way. Unless they... There's only two ways that happen. One, they straight up forgot Graylien was on the board. Okay. Two, they thought that Chuck was going to end up here for some reason. Like, it was a pull. Graylien would have to go here, it would yoink, and it would be here, and then you couldn't reach it. But even then, you might have had enough damage. No, probably not, because this wouldn't have reached, and neither would the Quagmire, so that doesn't make any sense. This is another one where the game is over when that Chuck died. Unless you, Urk, make some rather egregious mistakes, that game is over. Or this game is over, because you kept your Graylien alive, you eliminated their 9 key, you didn't lose anything really in the counterattacks. Like, oh, well, you lost a Contortio now. Like, what is the... It's Contortio... Let me ask you this, chap. If I told you at the start of any game, any ladder game, any frenemies game, that you could trade your Contortio for Razormouth, Cowbell, Kivo, and Chuck, how many of you out there would refuse that deal? Like, anything further from this point, I think, is just bad guy saying, whatever, I can't win. Like, if this werewolf dies, it's because bad guy said, yeah, I can't win, it doesn't matter. Even get a Bluelian? I don't know. Hey, it happens. It happens. I've made some dumb mistakes. Everybody's made some mistakes. I'd refuse for $5. For Tree Fitty. Other memes. Why didn't you kill this werewolf, though? Did you really not have enough damage? A little Boo Fairy action. I don't really understand the Boo Fairy, either. Because the Boo Fairy came out before the Chuck died. Beauty? I mean, you can make some things happen with beauty, but... don't think that's gonna be enough. Don't think so. I don't think so. Just making some notes for the editing later, chat. I mean, it is 3-to-1 panic point advantage. I guess hypothetically, bad guy could try and maintain this in order to deal enough heart damage. Excuse me. But still almost 6k health on the heart. I don't know. What's the HP of the werewolf? 372. I didn't see what it was on the one turn. No, Morbid, we jumped around a little bit. We jumped around a little bit to get the subscriber games pushed up. So we should do ManInYellow's next. And Sivadas, if Sivadas is on here. Yeah, Sivadas is on here. My bad, Sivadas. We'll do Sivadas next. Yeah, I just started that because it makes it easier for me when I can just pull them as a block to put them on the other ones. I did modify, again, there's really not much to say about this game. This game is over, chat. Like, we're just waiting to figure out how exactly does Urk win. Because, I added something just today onto the spreadsheet. It's not a required field, but I asked if people could put their Twitch names. So that way I know, because there's a lot of people who have Twitch names that are different from what they have in game. Just so that I know, and it'll make it a little bit easier to pair up who's a subscriber and who's not, kind of thing. Next turn is Beauty Bait. Sucky MVP? Okay, was that the game you were talking about yesterday, Morbid? Down goes the Snot Monster. Like I said, Chad, this is absolutely... Oh, I can see the Beauty Bait here. I can absolutely see the Beauty Bait. You really have enough damage to kill this thing, though? 2,200 health. Because they're going to get the jar. They're probably going to kill this. I presume. But you can go here, swap. You get 2 hits. Oh, they didn't kill them. Oh, yeah. This thing is absolutely dead. This thing is absolutely dead. 100% dead. Get another Switcher U. Urk, the master of the Switcher U. I said it earlier, part of me, you didn't even need the extra hits. That's just brutal. I said it earlier that I'm almost of the opinion that anything after the Chuck loss is just bad guy throwing things away. Because, like, look at this. They were out of keys. Urk did all of that and then goes, oh, by the way, I also have a mother load. It's just like, okay. There's nothing they can do. The Chuck loss, I'm telling you, I don't like to put people on the spot. But I would love to know what went through bad guy's head to say, yeah, I'm going to walk Chuck into range of a Graylien. Like, we all make mistakes sometimes. I hope that wasn't a spider I just brushed by. I realized that as I did this. I caught it. It was like a piece of something floating here, and I went like that to like brush it out of the way, and I'm like, that could be the 3rd spider that almost dropped down on my face during a stream. What level is the mother load? The mother load is a level 8. We're not talking super high level. So ironically, the Chuck that died for literally no purpose, I think was the highest level phobie in this game. So let's look at the, because this is the next to last turn. 3, 6, 7. A lot. Like, a lot. That's, whew, that's brutal. That's brutal, chat. Miss Moffat making a debut on stream? No, that's already happened. That happened a while ago. Like, I want to say back in October. It was months ago at this point. There was a spider that straight up dropped from the ceiling, like right here. And I'm turning sideways so you can see how close it was. It basically dropped onto the bridge of my nose, and I could only see it. You know where it's like something's that close to your face? So it's just fuzzy. You can't really see it. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, what the hell is that? Oh, it's fuzz. And I went to swipe at it, and I backed up, and I'm like, oh, that's a spider, because when it was this close, I could just make out it did this. I'm like, that's not fuzz. Fuzz doesn't do that. The number is a lot. Yes. Here, just take my... That was absolutely... Texas with a dollar sign. $11 billion. All right, we're moving along, but we're back on Scopoceum. Sivadas is our hero here in the orange trunks. In this corner, we have... No, just kidding. You still have a good game, though. All right, Sivadas, what kind of good game do we have? Gotta bring chat back up. I do that when I want the game XP. That's basically what I do now, Morbid, is I don't... I used to... like, actually surrender a lot. But now, just to make life easier, I just send all the phobies in. It's like, all right, whatever. I'll get a little bit of extra resources. It doesn't take that much extra time. I would prefer to be able to... What? I assume this will live. Oh, this is a pretty high level. This is a level 17 snowball. Good God. This is when it feels real bad, right? You have a level 13 snowball, and you feel good about it, right? This is a lot of damage. And they're like, oh, by the way, a level 17 snowball. Get wrecked, nerd. Like, what? That is so frustrating. Well, you could always send it in on the regular spreadsheet, Rybread. The points are only for if you want it done right this second, which I won't do on review nights anyway. Just throw it in the spreadsheet in Discord. Way higher than 2 months ago? Yeah, I mean, if somebody really wants to do that, we can, Morbid. So in the meantime, we're getting at least evening of the panic points. Although I imagine Torby will be able to reclaim this one pretty quickly. Obviously, the one drop's still alive. A Crushmore comes out. That's interesting. The Klepto, I mean, Crushmore, I get it on this map. Klepto's fine, but not very common here, I don't think. But because of the additional one drops and the mobility, this is... Is this dead? 580? So this is just a dead snowball here, right? Am I miscounting? 580. Oh no, this will just live. I think this just lives. I looked at it too quickly and thought there was more damage on the Crushmore. Yeah, there's a spot to enter your in-game name on there, Rybread. So the break here is very interesting. I don't know that I've seen this very often on this map. I don't hate it. Like, this doesn't seem bad. Obviously, Torvi realized that they would have killed the snowball if they had the opportunity, I'm sure, so it's not going to be a big deal. Repositioning down here to be able to force the Contortio away. Obviously, not a whole lot of effort has to be expended there. I think Sivadas is playing this pretty well, pulling bad guy in multiple directions. They were able to get some spare damage onto this Crushmore, which will help slow things down. And by slow things down, because that freeze doesn't actually really make sense here, it's more softening them up. Now, this is actually pretty bold. We get this Ray Charge, it's at level 12. So doing, you know, a fair amount of damage with the electrical. But this is a level 15 Hevo. This thing almost has as much health as my Hevo 3.0. The big boy. The big boy. But because all the panic points have been going orange lately, bad guy decides to put a stop to that. The stabby follow-up is interesting. Like, I get it. This stabby is presumably super tanky. It's a level 15 stabby, so it's a pretty good stabby. If it gets here in the center, it can hold it. All right, I get it. We're going to have a Crushmore either break or build online shortly. The Ray, I don't get. I mean, obviously you can help deal with the Hevo. It's mobile. Actually, the more I think about it, I can get behind this Ray, because having a flyer available means that this spot is available to you. And technically this one and this one as well, if you really need it. It just allows you that extra bit of mobility so you can get that extra surface area to push more damage. And now that you control this stim, you can help control this bottom panic point. 14 keys to 20 keys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phobies. So bad guys locked in until something dies. Whereas our hero here can still continue to respond however they feel appropriate. And one of the responses is Honey Bear. I like this. I don't know that I like that. This is interesting. I almost feel as though it might be worth... maybe not. I was going to say maybe bait with the creep to get them to come in. But the snowball is live, so it might not have happened. Exactly. I like the flyer, and it says hi to Hevo. Exactly. We were talking about... I harped on the Ray, because we have been beating up Ray a lot lately. Ray has not really been popular in chat, and I'm not a huge fan. But I can respect it if it is a flyer that says, oh, by the way, I have this other perk. As opposed to, I'm slamming this because they have a tractor, and it's like, oh, by the way, it doesn't actually one-shot a tractor. So unfortunately, due to the retreat there, which I guess maybe had to happen, you can't really threaten this Gin Sting, as in you're not going to kill it. But the Gin Sting will be able to get out. So they can move up, stabby, hit here. Like, they could kill this and then retreat, but then the Gin Sting probably dies anyway. There's too much here threatening it. I think the Gin Sting has to just straight up walk away. But Bad Guy is setting up a somewhat threatening configuration here on the heart. Is it more threatening than all of this? We'll find out. Yeah, Bad Guys absolutely said, I'm going for it. We're not even screwing around anymore. The question is, how willing are they to commit to staying here? Like, are they going to commit either of these to defend? Seemingly not, and I don't think they should. I think they need to go for it. So, is Sivadas' take a moment to think for yourself, chat. Do you 5625 to 4892? You're down panic points as our hero, but you're up on heart health. Would you go for the heart, or do you defend here? Go ahead and make your choice. We're going to continue, but just keep that in mind. How would you react in this scenario? So the Honey Bear puke is gone. Looks like we're going for it. You do still have a 1 key here to level out the panic point advantage, so that way you're not taking spare damage there. But oddly enough, this positioning means that you are going to be able to clear this stuff out, arguably trivially. Fireball ensures that this is going to die. Like, this is pretty solid. And then Hevo 3.0 on the defense. Seems good. Almost half the keys left, too? Yeah, a lot of keys left. Go for the heart. That's relatively few things to break through when you have a higher presence at the enemy heart. Yeah, I agree with Sivadas here. It feels like you should have a massive advantage. You now have a panic point advantage, although it looks like Snowball's coming down. You still have, even after all of this, over 4,500 health. You've eradicated their defenses. Like, there really weren't defenses here, right? Granted, you only just, as Sivadas, sent the Hevo in now, but still. Woolly Bully. Why is Woolly Bully going to the top? Like, so this doesn't make a lot of sense to me. If Woolly Bully was coming out, I could argue on defense, but I don't understand why it's going north. There has to be a higher damaging thing that you could have put there. You absolutely would have probably wanted another range phobia anyway, right? Like, I don't know that I disagree with Torvi, our bad guy here, going with more pressure on the heart. Because I don't know that you can defend this. It's possible, actually. Like, you go Rambolina, and then you go something, and hope that you can burn it. I don't know. But if you're going to go for... We'll see what the heart health is after this. Brony, lol, that's going to seal the deal. Under 2k health, you have to... So, what are you going to put on the board? It has to be Morty and Rambolina, right? Nothing else makes it in time. But there's over 4k health on the heart. You're just not getting enough damage. There's no way you're doing it. You have to try and defend. And I think you needed to defend, and we're talking as bad guy here, you needed to defend 2 or 3 turns ago. Or you needed to commit harder to this offense or something. I don't know. I think trying to save this Jin Sting was a bad idea. It led to just the multi-death and still pressure on your heart. I was wondering why they didn't swing Rambolina into their heart. Would it have really made that much of a difference? Like, there's no way... Well, I guess you're under 1,400. Or, under 1,500, rather. Realistically, bad guy only needed 1 more turn. And I wonder if they had access to something such as Brony. Would that... Well, Brony would have had to, again, come out a couple turns ago so that you had time to set it up. Or at least push the forces back. But ultimately, victory goes to our hero Sivadas. Well played. GG. Alright, so our hero here, we're finally off of Scopoceum. We're instead onto Eternal Monday. ManInYellow in the blue trunks is our hero here. Team wiped, but Droney is a hero. We do love some Droney shenanigans here on Random's Thoughts. We get a snowball opener, which I was personally very much into for a while. But since then, I've leaned into sort of what bad guy is doing here with Gravedigger. Now, I personally send it out in order to break this middle obstacle earlier, rather than getting rid of this top. It allows you to get a turret of some kind, a Stabby, a Bowmangles, and an Oculus in here. Truthfully, I don't generally break that block. I try and break this middle one, and then maybe this, so that way my Inoculus can just pelt the heart since it's exposed. Depends on the game, but we'll see what both players happen to do here. It looks like ManInYellow is going for their own Inoculus. Seems fairly standard. Early panic point advantage goes to our first player. Big shock there. And we're getting the inevitable trap-laying nightmare that is Unicorn from both sides. Sure. I guess the cat's going to get healed up. Because we can. But in the meantime, that allows ManInYellow to set up. Now, the challenge here, and why I like this is exactly the issue. We'll see if ManInYellow does elect to get their own Gravedigger online. Because when you have this many one-movers on this and similar maps, you end up in this awkward spot where, look at how much area bad guy has to work with. Look at how much area our hero has to work with. It's just super cramped over here. And we get a Blasto. So, bad guy's been banking, accepting the damage that's coming through. Our hero has not. They've been deploying forces. But they are at a panic point advantage, albeit a small one. And they are in a position to pelt the heart. However, they are staring down a level 13 Blastomatic. Game. I don't understand why the game sometimes just won't let me click on stuff. It drives me insane. Levels favor our hero, I guess, slightly. They're about even across the board. We're not looking at a massive level disparity that we saw in some of the other games. And the answer here, bad guy not electing to bank at all. They are instead dropping out another jar. Well, not another jar, but a jar. Bad guy still is going to be forced to do something, but ultimately our hero is going to have to reposition because otherwise the Blasto is going to get free hits. Spider is the answer. I actually like this. I like the Spider as the answer. Bad guy has to commit in. You can just yoink it onto a trap or onto lava or similar positions and just start lighting things up. Bad guy, you're not really going to go for this, are you? Okay, I was going to say, if they send in that Blasto, it's probably just dead. But I can understand this position so that you can pelt the Unicorn. it demands this, like, huge repositioning. Maybe not huge repositioning, but significant repositioning here, given that Stabby is now in position, the Inoculus is in position to still pelt the heart, and oh, by the way, under 3,500 health. I don't know about repositioning the spider like this. Like, I kind of get it. But it feels as though the Blasto can set up down here. To a degree. Yes, the Inoculus can hit it. But if the Inoculus stays, the Blasto will absolutely kill it. Alright, this is bad guy saying, I have to go in. And honestly, they need to go in this turn or soon. The problem here is, even though this Blasto is here, it can still get yoinked if the Stabby moves. Stabby's not going to move, you're just going hard. Like, this was just a slaughter, chat. This was just a slaughter. I don't even know what to say about this one. You can see what's happening. Bad guy just... They gave an opening, and our hero took advantage of it. Like, this is the arguable disadvantage of doing what I was describing earlier about breaking open this block. Because that Inoculus is in range. We do see the team wipe that was mentioned. Wait, is this a complete team wipe? That's a complete team wipe, chat. 18 health on this heart. Wow. If I'm ManInYellow, I'm sweating bullets right now. Alright, this is a good pickoff. Oh, the droney. Oh my god. Wow. Wow. I probably need to pull and splice that for a clip, future me, when you're editing this. That is just... Yeah, that feels disrespectful, but it isn't. At a certain point, you just have to be like, all right, well, you got me. Truthfully, our hero there set everything up, right? You missed it. You missed it, Monochrome. Like, that was a funny game. It was an absolute beating, and then all of a sudden, bad guy team wipes our hero. When I say team wipe, literally all 5 Phobies died that turn. And then our hero wins it anyway on the next turn. It was ridiculous. I'll have to make a clip out of that. Because that's impressive. That was impressive. What happened at the end, it was a droney-driven victory. A droney-driven victory. All right, our next game, I think, is somebody new who has not had a game review on the channel before. So shout out to new people coming in. NaseemJ on Red Rum is our hero. Weird versus conventional opener. So we get a Bo Mangles opener from our hero, and we'll see what's going on. Commercial made you miss it. I'm making every effort to get this set of replays up this week. So if you missed it, I mean, you can catch it on the VOD or when I put the clips up, but... yeah, it was a solid droney finish to that last game. So, yeah, unconventional opener is, I would say, turn 1 Gonzo. Pass is absolutely unconventional. This is a level 12 Gonzo. It's not even though, oh, hey, by the way, I have, like, a level 25 Gonzo. It has 7 billion health. Stop me. No, it's just an on-par Gonzo. Go. So, the follow-up from Bad Guy is a Gravedigger. It's a little weird. I don't mind Gravedigger on this map. I haven't used it too much. I do keep meaning to try it since I've gotten more into this Gravedigger phase. This is interesting. All right, we get a Gonzo'd up Fireball from Snowball in order to kill this Cassowary. That's going to lead to a dead cassowary, some cooked bird action here. But a 2-0 panic point advantage from our hero. And the Gonzo is powered down. Now, you could get 1, 2, 3, and Jars 4, but odds are you're not killing this. It's 2k health. That's 5, 8, 13, maybe 1600. You're not killing this. So the question is, does bad guy want to commit in? The positioning on this Gravedigger initially would have implied, yes, they want to go in, but triple panic point advantage, and bad guy's actually under a lot of pressure to do something. Like, they got to do something in the next couple turns. This is a small map, 5,400 health, but you have a stabby coming in to solidify this position. It's going to be difficult to break it unless bad guy is just leaning on, hey, I'm going to Gonzo fireball things and just kill everything. Which, I mean, that's a decent enough strategy. I don't know if I'm not counting it up. We'll see if it can snipe this. It's within range, so I'm sure either our hero or bad guy counted up and it will work or not work, respectively. But bad guy did not put multiple 1-drops on the board. They didn't bank. They don't have, like, they don't have a ton of options here as to what they want to do to try and break this. Especially because this Gravedigger, what is it going to do? Okay. So you've isolated to a degree, but you can still get 2 hits, 1 hit, 2 hits, or a meatball. So the stabby's probably dead. 3,300 health? Like, I get the wall. I agree with chat, though. It's kind of a weird wall. I don't really understand what the goal was here. Truthfully, it's possible that Hero could have just sat here and pelted the heart and said, hey, you need to choose between killing this phobie and reclaiming the board. I challenge you, you can't do both. That being said, this Gonzo could have slid down here and buffed the stabby, and maybe it goes down trivially. I can respect pulling back, because bad guy still has to overcommit in. IQ is like me, doesn't like using 1-drops. That's actually a fair point, that we haven't seen 1-drops out of bad guy here. This had to feel bad, juicing up the snowball in order to take down Contortio. I can only assume that means that the Murder Wing, had a brain fart there, that the Murder Wing would not have died. But still a 2-1 panic point advantage hero. I mean, we've seen a lot of beatdowns tonight, chat. Dead Gravedigger. Dead Snowball. Not a dead Stabby, but this Bowmangles is guarding this point, so that means that there's no way to reclaim it, at least at the moment. Just a bit over 2,100 health on the heart. Bad guy's getting some kills now. They banked to 7. Heroes banked to 8. I mean, sure. Penultimate Phobie, presumably, from bad guy is a Hevo 3.0. 2.0, rather, not 3.0. Game, please. Level 15 Hevo. So almost 3k health. It does a fair amount of damage. This is reasonable, I guess. AWOL. I guess. The erratic is reasonable here. If this comes in and tries to boop in order to get the AWOL, the erratic can tag it. And clearly our hero has all the time in the world to set this up, right? Hilariously enough, the AWOL doesn't die, the Bowmangles does. And the AWOL's on the healing spot, so it gets a free heal. Seems good. But again, this is now in range of 1, 2, 3. Instead, we get a snipe on the Murder Wing. Makes sense. Bad guy's out of keys. Only 1 for our hero here. I presume there's just straight up not enough damage. Our hero must have counted this, because Gonzo is live right now. Which makes sense killing the Murder Wing then, because it reduced just there aren't as many things that can hit the Erratic. So if you juice this, that means the Hevo's still in range. The boop is down, so you can't even push the Erratic away. Like, it might have... That was the last turn. Bad guy can surrendered after that. It might have been worth it for bad guy to save the boop down here to try and address the Erratic that was clearly going to approach. But that would have left the AWOL here. So the AWOL would have been able to connect. So AWOL hits for almost 6. Then there's another 5 here because you would have had Fireball. This could hit and the Erratic. Maybe it's possible, and bad guy counted it up, that the Hevo just dies then, and it doesn't matter. But regardless, there was a lot of pressure put on early on, similar to the early other games we saw tonight. There have been a lot of games that were beatings because one player just played it too patiently, we'll say. They just allowed our heroes to take control of the board. And, like, how many turns was it where not only did our hero have a panic point advantage, it was all the panic points, and even beyond that, there was no reasonable way, no reasonable threat from bad guy for them to just come back in. It's not as though, oh, I took control of triple panic points on a small map, and I'm just going to relinquish it the next turn. Bad guy still needed 1 or 2 more turns to set up to even be in a position to make that threat, so it sat there, chipping away at the heart. GG. Well played. All right, our hero here is Big She on Vile Vortis. I think this rotated out? Question mark? Big She is up against bad guy here, up against Brian Kibler's dog. Shout out if you get that reference. What are the notes here? My generic game. Was Firkin determinant? Check the game. All right, let's see. Let's see how important Firkin Leprechaun is in this particular setup. So we're not getting anything too abnormal. The variation from bad guy is, you know, basically, do you want to put the 1-drop out? For anybody who's unsure why this is normal, obviously, as first player, you can take the center, your 1 key, and the snowball then can claim either the top, this back point, this bottom one, whatever you want to do. And as second player, this means that you can't necessarily... You force your opponent to split back like this because they can't take the top one safely due to the combination of Cassowary and Snowball. Vortis is still in rotation, sadly. Sadly? Really? Whoa, bad guy. Bad guy with the surprise Morty. It's a bold move, Cotton. I don't know about this one. I guess this is fine. These are safe. For a second, I thought that Snowball and Hevo could connect, but they cannot, in fact. So panic point advantage remains, for now, even. And we get the Leprechaun. A very early Leprechaun. The only target right now is the Snowball, which is... okay. You knew that will happen, but Matt... Oh, the Morty? You knew Morty was coming? I mean, that's... No one suspects the Morty. So we're getting matching Hevos here. Neither player is electing to bank in any meaningful capacity here, or at all for that matter. So it's going to come down to who can eliminate the other player's 1 key first, who gets impatient sending in their 1 key, because that means that the other player can go ahead and cap things for free. Obviously not quite, but never mind. Bad guy elects to send in Hevo. That is interesting. Given the cohort that is up here, you can't really hang out, right? Because you're not... I don't think you can kill this Hevo, which means that Hevo gets 2 counter hits, there's a Snowball, a Cassowary, and Morty ready and waiting to annihilate you. Scritch. That's a Scritch, chat. And you were saying this was a generic game. We have a Morty and we have a Scritch on the board, and a very early Leprechaun. So, I mean, I don't know if I would call this game standard. Yes, there were... Or generic. There were some standard openers, but still. Klepto is the follow-up. Lobs, Vile Vortis. Name a more iconic duo, chat. So for the record, I don't look nearly as washed out with the lights tonight, and I made literally 0 changes. I don't understand my lighting setup. Juiced up Hevo goes in to snipe a cassowary. This had to have been calculated. Onda and Kaboom. Yeah, the Leprechaun's clearly for Morty. So, this had to have been calculated, because otherwise, why would you go in like this? You get 1, 2, 3, 4, possible 1, 2, 3. No, you. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. That might not be enough to kill this. We'll find out momentarily. It might actually be enough. It might actually be enough. No, really? Huh. This is interesting. I mean, the juice from Scritch is down, so that means you're not going to, like, continue to advance and get Morty, but... And Boss. I can see where the more generic label came in here. I can see where it's starting to get applied. So Panic Point advantage 4-1 for bad guy. There aren't any 1 keys on the board for our hero, so there is going to have to be some effort invested in reclaiming these points. 5 keys remaining to 11. Truthfully, outside of the boss, this doesn't look great, but ultimately, you have Scritch and boss. So if your opponent ever clusters for any purpose, they're going to get their world rocked. Look where, yeah, I don't really understand the Gonzo all the way back here. I mean, I kind of do. I kind of do. But is Gonzo really what you need in this scenario? Apparently you need a Hevo 3.0. What level is this Hevo? It's a level 14 Hevo. It's a level 14 boss. A Battle of the Titans. Keeping distance from Firkin? I mean, yes. But it also begs the question, why commit the Gonzo into the Firkin? Especially if you're going to have to play on the other side of creation. The Leapers for Hevo 3.0? Obviously. Clearly. So, both players now have cluster deterrents. The annoying part of this game is if I try to charge, I'll get wrecked by Gonzo. I mean, yes. I imagine that is part of the defenses that bad guy was trying to configure, is if you commit in, you die. You know, like, you're going to get some stuff, but you're not going to get much. Firkin's there for disabling the healing spa? True. Clearly. In before somebody says Firkin's there to disable the enemy heart. So Panic Point advantage was fought for and earned back by our hero here, 3-2. Can bad guy commit in safely now? Debatable. You could get a Gonzo juice onto Hevo to get some big damage going down, but I imagine the Hevo is going to die in the process, truthfully. And this means if you... 1, 2, 3, 4... The Gonzo is now able to get hit by Firkin. You can Firkin the Gonzo, and... Or you can just boss right now. Yep, we do get the Firkin up here. I wonder if that was an oversight by bad guy, or they just accepted the inevitability. Let's see how much actually dies here. Wow. Have to go all the way in there with the Klepto, but I get it. Thunder Rocks. Chat has been dying for some Thunder Rocks. So only Jinsting dies initially. We do have a heavily damaged Hevo. Can't stay. We Yeah, the heavily damaged Klepto probably also can't stay for very long. The question is, will boss die? I imagine that it will. It has to be the target, right? But it is dimensional, so it's not unlikely that it takes something with it. Is boss really going to live? No, because Hevo didn't attack yet, right? And Klepto had another attack. Okay, so boss dies to the fire. That's brutal. The Hevo 3.0 is still very healthy. But this is a lot of clustering for this Klepto to hit. Like, it's going to hit 4 things here. You can't ask for better Klepto hits than this. Down goes bad guy Klepto. You even get the dimensional pull play here. Wow. Wow, look at this counterattack. Big She. Pretty solid. Did you expect that, Big She? Like, did you think you were going to come out ahead there? I imagine you did. I imagine you did. So, chat, let's say Gonzo gets nerfed. Do you think people are going to complain as much about Boss and Scritch as they do currently with Gonzo Boss? Look at this board state after all that carnage. It's still an incredibly significant advantage for our hero. Incredibly significant advantage. I think not many people have Scritch. I mean, that's true, for sure. Devs won't nerf Gonzo so Furkin can be playable. I mean, I think Furkin has other purposes. There are other Phobies to Furkin. It's not like Gonzo's the only one, but I think it's a reasonable response. It just sucks that they're both 4-cost. Well played, Big She. Well played. Yeah, it sucks that it's 4-cost, because that means that, you know, you're answering the Phobie with something on level, which isn't the end of the world, but, you know, generally you'd prefer to have a level advantage in your favor. Or a cost advantage, rather. I'm saying level, but I mean cost. Alright, next game up is Morbid Fates. Back on Scopoceum, but Sucky MVP. Everyone loves a little Sucky action, so let's see what happens. So Furkin was determinant. It appears like it played... I mean, it did play a significant role, because in that last game, if they were able to Gonzo on the counterattack, that probably changes the entire scope of that turn, right? But being able to Furkin it absolutely crippled them, so that you were able to come out ahead in that exchange. They're really... If Gonzo activated, you probably just get blown out there, right? Like, it was a big deal. I'm a little surprised that they went Gonzo into that. Would it have mattered if they did something else? Well, I mean, it's 4 keys that could have been put into something else. I don't know. Furkin will only push the top into Stabby Bow and Hevos. What, if Gonzo stopped existing? Or are you saying in general? By stopped existing, I'm assuming it gets nerfed and then it suddenly drops out. Gonzo on 3.0 or Klepto would have made a very different outcome. I don't know if it could have gotten it 3.0, because I think it was just a little too far. But yeah, on Klepto, it wouldn't have been as good, but it would have been really good. So, anyway. This is a really interesting opener here from Morbid. The Sucky, I don't know, it's a big map. I haven't seen too many Suckies on big maps. I mean, I haven't seen too many Suckies in general, but big maps are interesting position for it. The Droney is also very interesting. I get, you know, you're going first, only 4 keys, you can't pop out a snowball. But going Droney at all is kind of bold here. Going Droney at all is pretty bold. So the decision is to go for the aggressive point. Makes sense. The Sucky can cover this one. And I guess Cassowary here is going to ensure that if something does make it over here, it can just leap off the stem and murder it. Can murderize it. Get a swipe from the cap, and not quite enough to take down Droney. It's a little tankier than that. We have a level 6 Droney. Rambolina on, like, turn 2. That is... That's a move you can make. We actually saw 2 Rambolinas tonight so far, chat, this being the second. We haven't seen too many Rambolinas in general. They're just not putting in as much work as they used to. But we'll see how Bad Guy wants to react, because they could dive with this Rambolina, and I almost feel like we're going to see it. But they're going to play it safer. My statement was going to be, I almost feel like we're going to see it, but they should not do it. And I think they realize it. There was a way how to trap that droney. Was there? When it was down here? Sometimes I use Rambolina here, but not this early. An early Rambolina just doesn't feel like it's worth it. I don't know. Rambolina's a phobie. Ooh, we get a little Charon gaming, chat. Rambolina's a phobie where it feels as though you need to use it as a response, but even then, it's still difficult to truly get the position you want. Regardless, the Rambolina goes in, caps a point, gets out. 3-1 panic point advantage for Bad Guy. Droney could have been trapped 100% and ended in a 2-key loss. I'd have to go back and look at the board state to see. It absolutely would have mattered. I mean, I don't see any way that Morbid could have freed it if it was actually trapped, but I don't think there's any way to... It could have gone like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and gone down here or something. And I don't think there's any way that you could reach it without then, like, offering up your cassowary or something. But again, I'd have to go back and look at the board state. So Noxious and Hevo fill out Bad Guy's forces. Charon's doing Charon things, of course, making this river of lava not quite as relevant. Which is significant for things like the Inoculus and the Stabby, which typically would have had a much more difficult time trying to get positioned where they need to be. Trying to dodge the lava, forced to overextend, that sort of thing. Motherload is the next phobie up. 14 keys to 17 keys. I don't think this Sucky is vulnerable, but even if it was, would you even want to do that? Bad Guy's more than content seemingly to pop out 1 keys to try and reclaim stuff. Is this really what you want? I guess there really isn't a clean way to dislodge this, because these are all melee. But this seems like it was inviting trouble. And just like that, dead Jin Sting. The Jin Sting here feels like it was inviting trouble. The Jin Sting staying there feels like it was inviting trouble. I absolutely could see Bad Guy thinking, hey, there's no way that... Oh, yeah, you can just go on here. You get the surface area this way. And now the Cassary's, what, going to leap and kill this or walk off and kill this? Where the Sucky becomes MVP, we'll see. I mean, the Sucky is still hanging around, lingering since turn 1. As compared to the Rambolina that came out on turn 2 and has done what? Cap a panic point? Attack once? Like, Fish Tank. That's a phobia I haven't seen in some time. But yeah, the overextension here, or maybe not overextension, but the... This is going to sound more insulting than I intended, but the laziness here with the Jin Sting, where it was, oh, well, there's no way this Jin Sting dies. There's a way. There's a way. And a safe way, because there was really no threat otherwise. I mean, Bad Guy had Hevo, Noxious, and Rambolina up here. There might have been something viable, but you absolutely had to kill probably 2 things to not then take even more losses on the counterattack, because our hero here was going to end up controlling the stim, or would have already had control of the stim if, say, the Stabby wasn't eliminated. Now you have a 4-0 panic point advantage. Inoculus holding down here on the stim. That's super scary. This Droney has survived since... How does Droney not get MVP in this game? Droney is on 2 or 3 kills. Like, why is this Droney still alive? Chat, we need a new record for how long Droney has stayed alive. Max phobia issues. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. True. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. But, like, how is this Droney still alive? Feels like Droney is the MVP here. Yeah, I don't know what Sucky has done so far. It's attacked, like, it got a leap, but... Alright, Charon finally goes down, like it matters. The boop is solid, though. The boop makes sense because it displaces the Inoculus, allowing you to get on top of it. Bad guys just kind of gotta go for it here. They gotta make something happen. Presumably, the Inoculus is just dead. There's no way to get out. But now bad guy has allowed our hero to get out from under the Phobie lock. Bad guy has allowed our hero here to get out from under the Phobie lock because they... Alright, we go for the leap on the Rambolina. What has Sucky done other than kill Jinsting and control the center? Well, Charon killed Jinsting. And, I mean, I guess control the center, but... Realistically, our heroes controlled the entire map, so is Sucky controlling the center any more than, say, Motherlode is controlling here, or Inoculus was controlling this side? Well, Stabby. Fish tank, chat. Just haven't really seen it. I mean, with good reason. I'm not really clear on why Gravedigger came out, but, I mean, or Bo Mangles for that matter. If you're losing on this map, I feel as though you need a lot of mobility. You can't pop out a turret and say, okay, this is how I'm going to reclaim things. Is this fish tank dead? There's no way, right? No. Yeah, nothing else can reach. Oh, excuse me, chat, I'm tired. Oh my god, is it gonna happen, chat? I think it's gonna happen. The mud goes away. There's a Sucky on the stem. There's a... Oh my god, are you serious right now? Good lord. Wow. Here we go. For all of you Sucky enjoyers out there, we get a Sucky leaping off the stem to absolutely annihilate. Like, look at this again. We have to look at this one more time because it happened so fast. Sucky just absolutely shredding that Noxious. Well done. Well done. I actually can't clip it because my clip button's broken again for some reason. I'll have to do this in the later edits, pull this one. I'm mostly saying this aloud, both so chat is aware, and also so that future me in the recording will know. That's how Sucky gets the MVP. Jeez, chat, I am wiped. I'm wiped out. The end of bad guy here. Well done. Well done, Morbid. Well done. Yeah, Sucky doesn't even die. Sucky doesn't even die. Droney died. Droney gave its life for the cause. But Sucky made it all the way to the end. Sucky tanked about 2,500 damage and 7 attacks. That's just insane when you think about it. Less the tanking, I mean, yeah, that's important, but the fact that Sucky was able to get 7 attacks, it's pretty bonkers when you think about it. It's pretty bonkers. All right, here we go. I guess we're just playing Scopoceum all night. And by playing, I mean watching games. This time our hero is Redwick in the blue trunks. 45 turns. Oh, God. 45 turns. And, oh, yeah. The guy's a full league above me. Here we go. Here we go. Let's see what we got. Let's see what we got. I'm so sorry for the shenanigans you're about to watch. Well, let's see, Rybread. So, speaking of dronies. 2-key turret can heal itself? I mean, sort of. Yeah, it's a new... Well, Rybread's been hanging out in chat, but yes, I think... Is this your first game that you sent in, Rybread? I'm not sure. So as mentioned, this is, well, I think I didn't actually say that part. Stranger 2 versus Primal 2. So this is a lower ranked game. We're going to see phobies that we probably typically don't see when we're doing game breakdowns for, you know, obvious reasons. Why didn't bad guy... Oh, because the jar is in position already. Well done, bad guy. I was like, why didn't you just claim this point? Oh yeah, you absolutely shouldn't. It will die. I live for low-level phobia action. You do get a different set of things, and that's why I think it would be interesting long-term when I do the show match setup. I do eventually... Wow, that's an early Sparky. Turn 3 Sparky. Still a panic point advantage hero, though. But long-term, I do want to try having specialized rules with the high-level players. Like, say we lock it to only common phobies, only uncommon phobies, and give that to them in advance. Or only, you know, stuff that you would see in primals or horrors or something like that. So that way people are able to... Okay, these are what really good players with really limited collections would do, sort of thing. And then the players could then create their favorites ahead of time. So that way it's like, okay, I know you can immediately search and not have to jump through hoops. So we do get an early mistake here from our hero because their jar just gets annihilated. And there's no real... Well, is there follow-up? Hold on. Oh my god, wait. Is this enough? 7, 11? This should not be enough damage. Or will it? 4, 7, 11. This should not be enough damage to kill this. It's not, I tried. Okay. I was just... It felt close, because you have the droney, you have the leap off of the stim, you have bees. You just needed one more thing. But ultimately, that jar didn't need to die. Like, it didn't have to be there. What level are the jars? The jars are... Well, this is a level 6 jar versus a level 6 jar. Bait Sparky. Honestly, I could see it here. The Sparky lives. This could be a dead Jin Sting. This is probably a dead Jin Sting, right? Wow. Wait, what? I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. This turn looked... I was like, wow, our hero is just getting wrapped on. But then this. Like, you absolutely don't kill the droney. There's no need. You don't have to kill the droney. They can't kill your Sparky with the droney. So, and then you just retreat. You don't even, like, clearly you don't want to stand on the lava, right? So you just go here. So they what? Leap with the, this, or they put this on lava to hit that? I mean, I don't necessarily agree with this. You could even just run it away. That probably would have been better than sending it out here to kill the droney. I don't know. But instead, Jin Sting will live to fight another day. There's going to be a dead Sparky. Fish Tank. He shocks, thus he must hit mechanicals. He's drawn to them. I'm compelled. The pact is sealed. A little bit of demolition crew. Bad guy is banked to 11. They're all in on the electrical phobies. We get an erratic coming out. Not my favorite phobie here. Wait, what? Now you kill the... Now you kill the Jin Sting? I think bad guy realized... I wonder if they, like, ran out of time on the last turn. And they ended up, like, oh, well, they panicked and hit droney with Sparky and realized it too late or something. Yeah, 2 fish tanks. 2 fish tanks. Does this live? Okay, so this will live through double hits, so obviously this is not going to stay because then it'll get the snot punched out of it. Evened up panic points. The question becomes, is our hero going to run the fish tank to the heart and just beat the snot out of it? And I hope if bad guys watching this, you don't take offense to this. Nobody's trying to be malicious when we're laughing about some of the mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's fine. Honey Bear, that is a pretty high-level play in what is being labeled a low-level game, as submitted by the one of the players. Not me trying to be derogatory about it. Should have done that at the start. So, matching sheeps here. I guess? Like, why is there a sheep from bad guy? And then unbearable. Now, since this is low enough level, it's entirely possible that neither player has healing phobies. So, sheep is a somewhat relevant threat across a variety of things. So, the question becomes here, where is this honey bear going to vomit? Honestly, from this position to go 1, 2, 3, or go 1, 2, 3, and then turn off this panic point, and then it's just 2 to 1, and bad guy eventually has to do something. Or you can just take this with fish tank. I don't know that it's worth going for the fish tank there. I mean, this is a 3 to 0 panic point advantage, but you're going to have to retreat, I think. Well, I guess you could commit in and try and win this trade war. But bad guy doesn't want to go for it anyway. What I was thinking is, oh, they send in Gin Sting, bees, and then back it up with sheep and unbearable and murder wing. That doesn't seem to be something they're interested in. Primate's got to retreat here. Makes sense. I don't really... This invade seems ill-advised. Oh, no, there's no real... You can leap and attack. That's not going to be enough damage to kill this. You can't get the murder wing. Just getting some repositioning here. The break should be online, but no real interest from bad guy for doing that yet. There is the potential for that play that either a break or a block extends or opens up avenues for erratic to get in. A lot of dancing. Yeah, I could see it. Without a yoink, or even a boop for that matter, it's difficult to position this stuff. This I don't really agree with. Like, what does this do for you? Truthfully, you would have been better off sending it here, and then maybe you vomit here, because then that turns off the stim and this, and then you could position the sheep, possibly get onto the Crushmore. But even if you do that, that's not great, because then the Crushmore can come to the center, so you'd have to simultaneously shove here to turn these off with the vomit, and then threaten the center to blow up the Crushmore when it goes to heal. Alright, we get a block replacement. I feel like... I mean, I guess this is fine. It's a little annoying, but you'd have to commit in order to really threaten this anyway. So we get the trade of the Murder Wings, because clearly this Murder Wing is going to die. And we do get the sheep connection here. I'm not a huge fan of this initially. I feel like the sheep was really to answer erratic, which I know I've mentioned before I don't like, but on this map, erratic's positioning is super awkward. Like, on a small map, I don't like sheep into erratic most of the time because the erratic can just get on other things to leech life. On a big map, it's clearly more challenging. And the erratic here is a threat to the fish tank. I agree that it's dead. Well, it died. Wow, that went down. I didn't realize it was that low. So you get a key positive trade, but you still need... Turn off the spot with wall poisoning, love it. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was saying earlier could happen, but... Or I thought maybe I didn't say it. But regardless... What is the... How do we get out of this? I mean, I guess the answer is how does bad guy win either? The mobility favors our hero here. There's only one mover versus 2 one movers here. We dance. Everybody put on their dancing shoes. So 3-1 panic point advantage here. But this is kind of awkward here. I mean, yeah, hard push is probably one of the answers. 71 to 43. Actually, our hero here has a pretty significant life lead. So that's not unreasonable. You could vomit on a few of these, or one of these, to lessen the strain, and then try and push for the heart. I don't know if you'd get it, despite the one movers. But bad guy is kind of isolating this erratic if you were to go for the hard push. To a degree, anyway. So you could slide the primate here, for example. Maybe put the fish tank here. Yep. Yep. Exactly what I was thinking. Maybe not this, though. This seems unnecessary. Especially having it on the lava. It does tie this up. And at this stage, bad guy's kind of elected to say, I'm not going to defend the heart push. Did they just not see this coming? Like, there's no way for bad guy to get into position now. At this point, the game is over. So the dancing did work out, and I think our hero here did a pretty solid job of picking things off as necessary. While I was complaining about the sheep hit onto the Crushmore, it did yield a Crushmore hit, and ultimately you're picking things off. You traded key positively, you're taking things out. You were left with more stuff on the board in better positions. Bad guy, I think, both had poor phobie choices and positioned their one movers incorrectly. Like, that being said, at lower ranks, they probably just didn't even consider the possibility of a heart push like this. Yeah, you're not racing it. It's already too late. But this is on the flip side of me saying that the sheep was probably originally intended to try and connect with erratic. I imagine the erratic was intended to connect with this fish tank, and then bad guy just kind of walked away from it. Seems a little odd. Seems a little odd. But GG. Well played there, Rybread, or Redwick. Well done. All right, we're into repeats. If you want to get your own games on stream and then ultimately on YouTube, check out the links in the description, both for the live stream over on Twitch and as well as the Random Thoughts Discord. And of course, likes and subscribes do help. But we're going to be looking at another Urk game here, going first on Eternal Monday. The notes here are a pretty nice comeback. Now, we get a somewhat unique opener. I haven't seen a Murder Wing opener on this map in a while. Rare no Grailian Urk game? Ah, yeah, Betrayal, exactly, DT. I think he had Clinico, though, if I remember his stress level right, 25. Is Clinico at 25? I don't remember. That's something that people have requested, that the old stress worlds are available for people to see in-game. It would be nice to be able to see the rewards. It would go a long way towards, say, the wiki and things like that for calculating a lot of things, because I don't remember what's available at different stress levels unless I sit down and really think about it, and I don't want to put that much effort in. So this is interesting. This is an interesting position because bad guy did not have to do it this way. So they didn't have to let this claim the center, which I guess they wanted to reclaim the center. Their response here is Hevo. The Murder Wing is positioned in order to try and help threaten. But I imagine like a meatball 558. This literally survives by 1. That's frustrating. But a jar can help finish this off, and then the Murder Wing gets out free. And then the Venus can move up to trap wherever it feels like. Instead, we get a reposition and a snowball. Okay, fair. The snowball means that if the Murder Wing and Hevo elect to come in to be aggressive about this, one of them is getting pulled out of position and then trading. Because we get an AWOL as a follow-up. Eternal Night. It's been a while since we've seen Eternal Night. I've been using it a fair amount. Maybe not a fair amount, but I've been using it a little bit in some offline games just for the sake of it. Especially when it's a higher level jar that I can't quite one-shot. Master Dark Shogun, welcome. Welcome. So we get a cat, 5 phobies for our hero. Clearly not going to be 5 for much longer. Jar now in position for bad guy. How is Urk going to dislodge this Hevo? I think that's the big thing. Bank to 6, so it's entirely possible that we're going to get something solid coming out here. Can probably clean up both of these. You have fireballs online, meatballs online, you have a cat. There's a variety of different ways that all of these can die. Now the real question is, this is a level 10 jar, 533. Just checking what can actually one-shot it. So notably, the Eternal Night is going to live. Triple panic point advantage bad guy. Crushmore is the follow-up from Urk. I don't mind the Crushmore. It's absolutely not what I was expecting. I mean, I wasn't expecting a specific phobie. Okay, this is absolutely how you respond in the scenario, but Crushmore wasn't in my mind. And that's aggressive positioning. That being said, well, it's 7 keys. 2 phobies could come out. Murder Wing is dead, but Snowball is live. Jar could hit it. Hevo could hit it. 1, 2, 3. So Jar can go up here. Snowball here. Hevo here. That's not a ton of damage. I mean, well, it is, but it's not going to be enough to kill it. You're going to need a lot of help. Need a lob if he has one, too. Well, I get the lob, yeah. I don't know what else you have available, Urk, to answer this. But speaking of answers, we get a smiley here to try and address this Crushmore nonsense. So the block here is kind of cute. Obviously not going to deter Smiley, but it does screw with positioning for bad guy. Unless they rotate their lobbers there. So a lobber could just stand behind this and still guard it. And also, there's an argument that the jar could hide back here, and it makes life a little complicated, but it's probably fine. The Eternal Night goes for a dip in the spa. You do get the trap hit, unsurprisingly. A pretty solid chunk of damage going down on it, but you don't have a true clean answer, aka mechanical, to the Smiley yet. So Jar is going to be positioned here. This feels like you're sacrificing the Crushmore. But they're not going for it. Like, what is... Okay. Why not disease the Crushmore? What is the purpose of this Smiley other than to disease the Crushmore? If it's not to disease the Crushmore, and it's not going to reclaim this point, thereby poisoning probably one of these. I guess the fear of putting it on the center point is, oh, well, maybe Urk put a trap here, but I don't... If you saw the trap here, I think you have to assume that there's no trap here. I don't think there was any opportunity for Urk to pull that off. Maybe bad guy lost track. But I don't understand why they didn't go for the disease here. Like, I don't understand what the purpose of the smiley is. Keeping control and achieving mass disease instead of one? I guess, but I don't think you're ever going to mass disease. That's the thing. And if you do, is getting Murderwing and Snowball better than getting Crushmore? Assuming that it probably won't even be that. It would be like Venus and one of these. Is that better? You're getting quantity more Phobies, and that seems good. I don't know. We'll see how the rest of this shapes up. It feels a little weird. I'm not saying just throw Smiley into the meat grinder, but it just doesn't seem like... I don't know what the purpose of this Smiley is. Smiley still being alive forces position anyway. It does to a degree. So we do get a multi here, a multi-disease. I imagine you can't hit the, you can't hit this or it dies, right? Baited Smiley or I had to get rid of it? Yeah, I could see that. I could absolutely see that. And like I said, it hitting these things seems less relevant than the alternative. Like, the Crushmore seems more valuable. So bad guy going with the Jackalope plan. Only 2 keys remaining for our hero. 1,600 and change to 5,900. Definitely need to reclaim some of these panic points, and soon. That is bold. Can you kill this? It appears no. But there isn't really a great retaliation here. So one of the drawbacks is they can reclaim with a Jackalope, we'll say trivially. They eliminate this with the jar. And Hevo's going to pull back to heal. Panic point advantage hero, though. So there's still that. Womp wah. That feels like a bait here. And it happened too quickly for me to call it out, but because bad guy elects to eliminate the snowball with the jar. And again, I kind of get it. What they could have done here instead was kill the jar, you know, like hit this once with the jar, hit it with the Hevo, but body block with the Jackalope so it doesn't get pulled, and then walk back with both. Although that would have left the Jackalope in Hevo's position, meaning it probably dies because Hevo can only walk to... Or no, Hevo would have been... Never mind, what am I saying? This would have walked to here still. This would have walked to here still. And then you don't lose your jar. But ultimately, jar goes down. Panic point advantage hero. Jar will eat it. Question is, are they going to commit the other Jackalope? They are. I love the predictive Jackalope move. Yeah. Well played, Urk. This is well played. Very patient, pulling it back. I don't know if we go back to that Smiley turn that I was debating, if you go all the way back to that turn, would it have been better for bad guy to just send in the Smiley to get rid of the Crushmore? Possibly. I mean, the Crushmore wouldn't have been gone, but you have a life advantage as... bad guy was in control of the panic points for a while. You had the jar, so if anything goes in, you're going to blow it up. I think you're better off trading the Smiley for the Crushmore and kind of going from there. Smiley had to never move and be patient and just... I guess... Like, I'd have to... I kind of just want to see this, because I like the idea of Smiley games. So, like, when does the smiley show up? I want to look at the board state there. Okay, so Smiley's here, right? This is Urk's turn. So this is the first turn after Smiley comes out that bad guy has the opportunity to do anything. You kill this. They move Smiley here, which causes everything to shimmy back. Bad guy only has 5 keys left. Like, I don't know that I like the Smiley here kind of at all. But absolutely not if you're going to walk it into traps. If bad guy, because this is maxed out, right? So bad guy pulls Smiley back and just, like, leaves it here. Let's say, because then it could reach this point, it could reach this point, it could reach it'll threaten any of the panic points of, like, hey, if you ever advance something, I'm going to disease it. Our hero has to commit probably one of these 3, and any of them on any of these points is dead, right? Because either this and Jar finish off one of the little things, slash with Hevo. If you go to the north, then this will die to, well, I guess it just gets disease. The safest thing would probably be for Urk to inch up this and put it here. You don't have a ton of time, but you have a little bit of time to, like, lay another trap wherever and then inch this up. Bad guy still has 5 keys, so they could have committed whatever. There were other mistakes, but Smiley had to take Crush as well as other stuff. I think if you take the Crush more, I don't know that you have to... Because in this board position, if you trade Smiley for Crush more, let's just say those 2 go away, right? It's these 4 and 2 keys versus these 3 and 5 keys. That's roughly even, and it would depend on where the panic points, because, you know, Eternal Monday with Jars and who has to commit in. But bad guy would have the reactive position to get something to happen. There is the argument that if the Venus, if Urk is able, so say Crushmore and Smiley trade, and Urk is able to get the Venus into position to start laying traps everywhere, then bad guy probably has to go like 1 key, 1 key, 3 key. They can't just pop out a 5 key thing or even a 4 key, because you're going to need to test the waters, and it's possible, depending on what 1 keys are left, that the Venus traps just eat them. Because this actually dies to a Venus trap outright, so it can't recap the point. It doesn't get its dimensional death. I can see a world in which Smiley trading for Crushmore causes bad guy to lose. I can see that. But it's difficult to say without knowing what else bad guy has available. Like, I kind of agree with Hakune, or I'm assuming this is where Hakune's going. If Crushmore and one other phobie from this force dies, the game is over. Kind of thing. I mean, ultimately, that does work out that way. That isn't, I mean, Crushmore doesn't die, but, like, other things die. But if we're assuming this gets Crushmore, and it would take a while, because, again, Crushmore's not going to die immediately. It's going to be diseased. So it's going to take a few turns, meaning that Urk can reclaim points. You know, are you going to jar the Crushmore and then almost die to that sort of thing? It would get sticky. I don't know. I don't think advancing it... I don't know. There were a few different things that feel like they needed to change that game. But yeah, definitely a come from behind victory for Urk there. All right, once again with ManInYellow in the blue trunks. Has ManInYellow been orange yet for a game review? I'm not sure, but one of the closest wins I've had in quite some time here on the Big House. Excuse me, I was getting a little gaseous there in the midst of trying to speak. You know how it is, chat. It happens sometimes. We're all human. Well, I know I am. I don't know if anybody else out there is human. Shout out to my Philosophy 101 classes. If you know, you know. But anyway, We get Unicorn plus 2 1-drops versus Cassowary and Razormouth. Kind of a, we'll say a standard opener. We'll say standard here. Level 12 to level 15. So we're getting some high-level stuff from Bad Guy, but at least comparable levels for our hero. It's not a massive blowout or something. It's the first time I'm watching the stream. How do I pick which games to watch? So if you hit up the Discord, the command is !Discord in chat. It'll give you a link to my Discord. There's a form there where you can submit games. Or if you want me to do it right this second, I don't do that on game review nights, but on other stream nights. If you want me to review the game right this second, there's a channel point redemption for it. Shout out to everyone playing Phobies that doesn't have a subconscious or a conscious. Thank you, DT. There you go. So we're getting matching Innocuous here. Matching Innocuous. Not unsurprising. I have mentioned on many occasions that I really like Unbearable on this map, but truthfully, I feel like Innocuous has kind of displaced it. It's like, why bother with it if I could just Innocuous sort of thing? Little hydrate action. So we do get an aggressive or somewhat aggressive push here by ManInYellow by taking the centerpiece. Clearly, the cat's going to die, which means that the cowbell can replace. So it ends up being kind of a wash. It's just eliminating pieces from the board, which is fine. Got a turret follow-up and stabby from ManInYellow, but a bank from Bad Guy. I imagine we're going to see a boss. That seems to be the theme lately. I was doing Unbearable plus Innocuous a lot. I like that too. Like, I don't hate Unbearable now, but this was like my Unbearable map, which sounds weird, and that isn't how I mean it. It's not that the map is unbearable, but this is the map that I used Unbearable on, and Innocuous has kind of displaced it as the primary 4-drop to go for me, at least right now, but I still use it. So Bad Guy elects to go for their own stabby and 1-drop instead of going for a big 8-drop, which is curious. Huh. Oh no, the cat got replaced by a robot, and a robot takes over the map. So this is interesting. It's an aggressive push. You get the stabby in the center. You do get a slight body block from this. It's going to cause some weird conditions for Bad Guy. But because this is so close, yeah, you can get things like this happening. So this actually allows the stabby to make the challenge play to advance. It'll result in the dead unicorn. Down 3 keys, but ultimately we're looking at 2, 3, 4 versus 1, 2, 3. It's pretty close. Like, it's not a big deal. Some damage going down on the stabby, but ultimately this could be a dead unicorn. Also, I imagine there's a trap here. This unicorn was sitting there way too long for there to not be a trap here, right? I think I saw a video from Vazey showcasing Repeller, and it had that as well as an Innocuous on both rows on Big House, just staring down the aisles, as well as Repeller pushing the Phobies back constantly. Yeah, that's like trying to run across no man's land in like World War I, right? You're just facing down the enemies shooting lasers at you, I guess. Well, that wasn't really World War I. At least not the history classes I remember, but... Can Innocuous kill each other with 2 hits if both have the same level? Level 11, level 14. So, 520? Yeah, it's actually exact. Like a level 11 against a level 11. There you go. And I assume, I don't know this for sure, but I assume damage and health will round in the same way. So, like, if for some reason it was 5, it was an odd number, and they'll both round up or they'll both round down, so that it stays even. You know what I mean? Like, it won't flip for some reason. So we're back to the 1-key trading war, which is everyone's favorite. It's no one's favorite. No one likes this. This is just annoying when this happens, but it is what it is. And including the 1-key war is going to be dimensionals, but 7 keys and 9 keys. So our hero is in the position where they ultimately have to make something happen. Bad Guy doesn't actually, like, they will win the 1-key trading war because they're going to have more, well, I mean, Unless they run out of 1 keys entirely, I guess. But and in fact, they elected to not bother. They went with boss. They have 1 key remaining. 7 keys for our hero. I assume the stabby, like, was there an animation that I missed here? I assume the stabby killed that boomer. But it looked like it just died and pulled it forward. Did I miss the animation? I was only, like, I'm looking at chat while trying to, like, watch 2 things at once. The smiley here is definitely very cute. It did attack. Okay, then it just looked weird for a second. We do get the takedown here. The smiley protecting this bow mangles. This is actually, we talked about it yesterday because I tried to answer Hyper Eats boss with a foul, and I just could never get foul to connect. Whereas Smiley addresses the boss in a, maybe not a more direct way, but probably a more serviceable way. So 2 keys remaining for our hero. And the funny thing is, yeah, the Smiley can reposition here, and all of a sudden it's protecting everything. Now, you do have to be cautious of this. It only has 800 health left. Do you really need to be that cautious? This repositioning must just be because they want to reposition. And the smiley being here means that our bad guy is going to have to jump through some hoops in order to protect the boss from getting diseased. Now, the big thing here is how do you connect with the boss and then just not lose before the boss dies? It's like, great, mission accomplished. I've diseased boss. But boss is still alive for a little while. And this is part of the awkward piece, that you can't quite get this innocuous yet. But this does mean that you are blocking off a variety of things from bad guy. The smiley's clearly very healthy. Even if you're able to kill this trap probably threatens a bunch of stuff. So panic point advantage bad guy. Unsurprising that we get You're Fired up here. I almost would have rather have seen the K9 go here. Well, that wouldn't have mattered. Yeah, that wouldn't have mattered. Maybe the K9 here is worth it as a bait. Because if you're fired here, then the Bowmangles is dead. Kind of feels like they should have You're Fired down here anyway. I guess it gets the stabby, but it gets the stabby, and that means that the Bowmangles is less of a threat. So Bow is dead, and now we're looking at K9 and Innocuous versus these 3, because obviously boss is not long for this world. Oh, that hurts. That hurts that trap got it. I wonder, would boss have lived? Boss would have lived through the fire here. But I wonder if this was a 50-50 for bad guy. They lost track and they weren't sure whether the unicorn put traps down here or here. Because I think the unicorn was up here a little bit, so it's hypothetical that there's a trap here. But instead, the trap results in a dead boss. That's kind of a big deal. I mean, our hero's still in a not great position. Depending on whether this Innocuous can snipe this Smiley. Because the Smiley is going to zone out the rest of it, right? Honestly, why did they back this up? Shouldn't they have put Innocuous like here? The reason I'm saying that is because then you can threat... Oh, no. It would just die to this. Okay, that's why. Never mind. This Innocuous is beat up enough that it can't go here. This is going to be a weird dance for the rest of this game, trying to determine where everybody goes and when. Smiley in the center because the Inoculus moved. Now bad guy has to, like, swing everything all the way around. Oh, this is kind of bold. Are they just giving up? Because this is just dead. And then you walk away. I guess you don't have to walk away. Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that previous turn for bad guy. I don't know that I agree with that previous turn. Now, that being said, our hero, well, this is just going to die next turn. I don't think bad guy can run these two down. Yeah, you just kill this and the game's over. GG. Well done. That's well done. That is one of the things that, as I was mentioning earlier, you can get these things to connect with boss. It's just a challenge sometimes. Like, look at how this game ended. And we could probably go back and nitpick specific turns for either player, but Smiley did what it was supposed to do. It actually got on boss, it diseased it, and ultimately led to boss's demise. But it still ended up being 1 phobie to 0 at the end, and the 1 phobie that lived is Smiley. A couple different things breaking the other way could have meant that this still goes to bad guy. It's not as though Smiley strictly says, yep, the game is over because you went boss. But well done. Well done. All right, more reruns. Well, not reruns, but repeats with Sivadas here. The notes for this game are, did Zamboni win this game? Nah. All right, let's see. What would be scarier, Smiley in your face or an erratic in your face? I think erratic just wants a hug. Smiley also wants a hug, but I don't want to hug Smiley. TT, the Beetlejuice worm? Nice. So, we got the standard opener out of our hero, a non-standard response out of bad guy. I don't really like one-movers on this map, like full stop. I can understand something, say, a honey bear, or Chuck. Much longer range. Stabby is a little weirder. Stabby's a little weirder just because the lava. It'll depend on, if you go honey bear, then I guess it opens up those one movers again, makes it a little bit easier, but we'll see how this goes. Spud is the follow-up for our hero, allows him to bank to 7. Noxious means that bad guy is not banking. So what do we got here? We got pressure going to bad guy's heart. I imagine it won't last very long. The pressure, that is, because, well, there's still tons of keys. These things can rotate, whatever. But triple panic point, or 3-to-1 panic point advantage. I don't know about that one, bad guy. That is a bold move. This is just a dead Noxious, isn't it? Level 11 Noxious? 5, 10, maybe 11, 15. It actually might live. It actually might live. Because the only thing that should be able to reach is a jar. Presumably, if Sivadas doesn't go for it, it's going to live. Oh, Sivadas is going for it. No, they're not. They're just setting up to defend. Never mind. I mean, this is reasonable. The lava is negligible because of Regatorate. And even here on Quagmire, yes, they're standing on lava. Yes, they're going to get poisoned. It doesn't matter. They're not in any significant danger. Nothing that they can't just walk it off, rub some dirt on it. Bad guy is finally taking a panic point advantage, 3-to-1 going the other way. We do get the not, like, this should be a dead Noxious, right? So, I mentioned this early on another Scoposium game, that a lot of people have been answering both Alligator and Quagmire, as in I deploy Quagmire or Alligator, and then my opponent deploys Foul. or Pescetti, and I don't necessarily agree with either of those. Get a little muffin action. Is this really necessary? I guess this makes sense. If you go here, it's safe unless they commit in a weird way. You are going to take a bunch of damage. Obviously, lava on both of these. These are poison. They're in range of a variety of things. This snowball could slide to the stem. And, of course, foul does 1 billion damage. 952 here. This is a level 13 foul. And that's a dead Quagmire. Snot Monster goes down. I can hear my wife yelling upstairs because we have the Niners-Cowboys game on. And it sounds like the Cowboys are doing well, based on her reactions. I was just going to watch it later. That foul is a level above mine. I like foul. I really do like foul. All right, Zomboni action. Let's see if Zomboni provides the dub here. We do have, like, look at this. This is actually going to be super value Zomboni. Yeah, the Bengals just annihilated them. I did see part of that game, most of that game. Most of it, like, the part I didn't see, I knew the game was over. I was going to watch all the reruns tomorrow. The Murder Wing does go down. This is not going to be as good of a Zomboni, but still a potentially very strong Zomboni. Look at that! Triple and the poison removal. Seems good. Seems good. Unfortunately, not quite a dead snowball here. Now it will be. Dead Murder Wing. There is notably a disease on the gator from before. It's actually enough to overwhelm the regator rate. So this will be a dead gator over the long term unless it gets parked on the healing spa or something. Not quite an immortal gator. I mean, it's probably going to die right here, right now anyway. 7 keys remaining for our hero. 13 for bad guy. There's actually a lot. But bad guy is getting oddly aggressive here. Like, I don't know about this. These two should kill this, I think. Maybe not. You're actually going to need to sink a significant amount of effort in order to kill the foul, but you're right here. Anything that pops out will be able to hit this foul. So instead, the efforts are getting expended in order to kill the primate. AWOL. Nice. AWOL coming in, laying the beats. Get a little unicorn action. I'm not sure about the unicorn, but, I mean, sure. And then Innocuous. On the vault, even, to get the double hits. That's all of the keys remaining. Of the 3 Phobies, 2 of them are 1-movers. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to get a little complicated. Bad guy elected to invest in a gator. Let's see what the remaining 6 go into. Our hero will need to reclaim the panic points at some stage, but maybe not. Like, there's still over 7,000 health on this. There isn't a real big threat. In my opinion, Zomboni is just a worse version of Leshy, as Leshy is better than it. I disagree. I think Zomboni is way better than Leshy. I think Zomboni is way better than Leshy. It's cheaper and it's ranged. Get a little big brain play. A little big brainage. Seems good. Get a second Zomboni heal. Wow. How wild is that? Did it really do anything meaningful? How much did this heal? I mean, it led to a bunch of damage on this gator. The gator can still come in and kill stuff, clearly. So I imagine the gator... Oh, no. The jar on the stem. And there's no real good way to get it right now, is there? How much health does this have? 596. Yeah, there isn't... It would have to be these two commit to get the jar. Never mind. What am I saying? The jar alone can trade with it. I don't know why I was thinking you need both. Which means, like, why did bad guy do that? I had a brain fart for a second. I'm like, sure. So the weird part here is the Gator's still alive, but it would have to be like Gator and Ginseng to kill the Zomboni, maybe. What is the bad guy gonna... Oh, they dodged the trap. Not like this. So they take the Zomboni, but it's 2, 4, 6, 7 hits. I don't think you get both, but you get a significant amount of this, aka half. Yeah, and then it just goes down. The Gator might have been a better target. Only because, well, you probably don't have enough damage. Probably don't have enough damage. Wait, what? I don't know about that. If you kill... Cowboys lost, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. As long as the Eagles lose next week, I don't care. As long as the Eagles lose next week. I mean, I didn't want the Cowboys to win either. I would have been fine with the Niners, but whoever beats the Eagles next week is all that matters. As long as they do it. Last 3 minutes of this game were insane. I'll have to watch it tomorrow. So, I think they should have gone for this. This is more damage than the single AWOL hit. You only have one Phobie as bad guy here. You need to remove as much stuff as you can as quickly as you can to reduce damage. Because past a certain point, your regator rate is effectively just removing it all. Now you get like 6 hits with this, or you do what Sivadas is doing and spreading out. Which I kind of get because you need to eventually reclaim something. While we were going on and on about the damage... Is the Gator dancing? It's like a dancing Gator here. I almost want to use this as the thumbnail. While we were talking about all that stuff, a little over 30, or a little under 3,800. He's dead. Yeah, the dabbing Gator. So bad guy has their pick here. How do they want to try and finish this? They're going to go after Innocuous. I imagine, truthfully, that this is going to result in the Gator stepping on a trap and ending up. Like, they have to recognize there's a trap here, right? Why did they only attack once? They have to know there's a trap. Which means you need to reposition. But if you reposition, you're just dead. You're dead no matter what here. You're dead no matter what here. GG. Well done. I mean, I think there were a lot of things that led to this scenario, and it would have been tight for bad guy to make this happen anyway, just because Sivadas had so many Phobies towards the end. And we've talked about it before, that more Phobies means more actions, even if they are ultimately weaker Phobies. You can just do more things, and in most games, if you have more actions than your opponent, more things you can do, you're at a significant advantage. And in that case, it worked out. I think they could have done it slightly differently. It would have been okay, but it is what it is. All right, so we're here on Opticon. Our hero here is in the orange trunks. MasterDarksh. I'm going to say it's like that. Wait, what? An old game I've done in December. It's a good fight to show how to use Excuse me. It's a good fight to show how a good use ultra rare is better than spamming them. Okay. So we apparently have a agreement here. It's like StarCraft 1. 15 minutes, no rush. And then we get set up. So we got our pseudo agreement. They didn't go all the way, just banked to a lot of keys. Our hero here opens up the game by claiming a lot of panic points. How does bad guy respond? Got a little laugh action going. So we get a Chuck into Evo. All right. All right. What's that, flat snowball? Or what the hell is that, snowball? Snowball is pretty flat. In a trend that you pause on the best moments. I always do that. I mean, when we're doing game reviews, I pause a lot of stuff, so. Your snowball movement is bad? What, positioning it here, or you talk... Oh, yeah, this is not great. Why did you do this? Like, that's a bold move, Cotton. But this is similar to, it's similar to the erratic plays that I always beat up on. Because Chuck is undead, so it's like, yeah, he got pulled forward, and he got damaged, but, like, he's still okay. He's gonna leech this, even with the... And I can kind of understand from the snowball player's perspective that you... With the creep, it's like, oh, well, I get the poison now, but that means you need to... And this early in the game, it's probably better. Ooh, and Edgar Allan. All right, we got some exciting stuff. But the point is that you'd have to run away from the Chuck. And in fact, we're getting a preemptive retreat here. No poison on the Chuck. I think at that point, you just kind of go for it, but it's fine. But we get an Edgar Allan. Panic point advantage, bad guy. For how long, we'll see. This is not... I'm pausing here partially for dramatic effect. But I don't understand this. I want to see the end board state before we truly critique. This is a level 6 Evo. Over 2,500 health. This is doing 900 and change. Really 1,000 because we're clearly going to get Bird Bath. We're going to get a hit from this, so that's another 6. So what do we say? Say 1,500. Let's call it that. Then we're going to get another almost 600. We'll round up to 600. That's 21. And we could get a jar or a snowball because it would be 1, 2, 3. Like, this is probably just a dead Evo. When Edgar Allan Poe wrote The Raven, he was referring to Edgar Allan the Phobie, foreshadowing the release of Phobies, clearly. We're probably going to have to highlight this turn, because how often do you see Edgar Allan, chat? This has to be a dead Evo. Like, I refuse to believe this is not a dead Evo. This is even a hilarious way to kill it. That is hilarious, actually. You gotta look at this turn, because you don't actually get to see Edgar Allan a lot in the game. This is coming from the Carnival expansion. Edgar Allan is real solid, or seemingly. We get a hyper-aggressive Evo coming in from Bad Guy. Evo 3.0, that is. And you may or may not see a terminated Evo 3.0. Like, look at this. You get a juiced erratic, excuse me, a juiced Sparky hit, a juiced Cassowary hit, a juiced Clopster hit, and then, hilariously enough, not even a direct hit from the Klepto, but the splash. The splash takes down the Evo. And then, by the way, Creep cleans everything else up so that Edgar Allan can come in and reclaim that panic point. Well done. Well done. I just, like, this felt... Do you get a better showcase of Edgar Allan than that? Like, is there a better way to showcase Edgar Allan's ability than that? The game has to be over at this stage, right? Like, it almost doesn't matter what Bad Guy does because of the tempo loss here. So you kill this, you can Clopster here. The combination of these two probably kill Bluelian. Actually, going for the Bluelian here. That's fair. Edgar Allan escapes. Get a heal on it. Possibly, you still had 2 keys. I don't know if you have Droney, but it feels like this thing should have died. How much health does this have? Oh, it has 1,000 health. Never mind. This wouldn't have been able to do enough damage to it. Noxious is the final phobie for bad guy. So these 4 phobies are going to have to beat these phobies and 7 keys. I'm not going to lie. I don't see that happening. This is unsurprising. You get the pick off on Daisy. The poison is... The Noxious into an existing Clinico seems suspect. The Tractor moves to a safer position. I mean, realistically, if Chuck and Alistor came in, I don't even know if they kill it. Yeah, they should get this. Be close. I'm not actually going to count it up. I don't feel like doing the arithmetic. The, like, 10 seconds, not even that it would take me. But it's safer to do it this way, but even if they came in, that's like a free pull. I don't know, we'll see. We do get the yoink here. Repositioning the Noxious. Of course, Noxious is going to go down here, I imagine. I mean, this does get a little scary, in theory, because once you hit a certain threshold, a certain breakpoint, it's difficult for the Alistor to actually be killed. Like, the Alistor then can just pick apart your team. And remember, this has been Panic Point Advantage bad guy for a very long time at this stage. Klopster goes down. What level is this Alistor? It's a level 9 Alistor, so a little over 1,700 health. In range of the Attractor. We get a second Edgar Allan in this game. $500 plus damage. I mean, it's 505, but over 500 damage Attractor. How often do you see that, chat? Like, that's wild. And in fact, you get the finish with the Clinico, so the yoink isn't even all that relevant. I feel like it would have been better to maybe move this in range. I don't know whether the game plan here is to, like, move it in range so that it could threaten this next turn. Like, is the game plan going for panic points, or is the game plan to just burn down Chuck? Apparently it's burned down Chuck. Which, again, like, this could have been here. It was never going to die. And then you just get on the... Although, could you have killed it? Nah, it would have been one extra attack, so it wouldn't have actually been able to kill it. Having both Russell and Edgar Allan activate their abilities at the same time and make a cool effect, it would look pretty cool. It would look pretty cool, although I don't think it's actually possible to do it. But GG, Chuck. And the finish, gotta love it. Edgar Allan finish. Seems pretty hype. Seems pretty hype. Well done. Well done. Well played. When Edgar Allan moves, it looks like an emo kid walking through the halls with their headphones at you. No neck. Blue team won, in my opinion. They didn't break the banking keys truce first. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the details of the agreement were, but clearly there was something in place of... Yeah, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. But chat, that's gonna do it for tonight. I'm pretty tired. We're at the usual quitting time. We will be back tomorrow. And we will be doing some variety. Specifically Pokemon, I'm hoping we can kind of wrap this up in the next stream or two. Probably 2. I expect either a bunch of deaths or a bunch of grinding or both, in order to try and complete this. I hope we're able to wrap it up soon, so that way we can move on to some of the variety games, other parts of Pokemon, but we'll see how it goes. Then we'll be back, of course, at the end of the week with more Phobies. I may end up missing a stream day next weekend. I forget whether it's going to be Friday or Saturday. I have to double check what's going on, and I won't know until we get closer to the weekend, but we'll play it by ear. However, that is going to do it for tonight and for, well, the majority of this weekend. So, as always, everybody, thank you for listening, thank you for watching, and Black Lives Matter.